Welcome back, Troglodytes, to the Trogly's Guitar Show. Today we have a 1991 Gibson M3 Standard. It's a Gibson Super Strat, so we're gonna count it for Fender Friday. These are very interesting Gibson guitars, and I'll never forget my first one. I instantly fell in love with this model, despite not really being a Super Strat guy myself. These were born in the very early 90s and is pretty much the last Super Strat Gibson toyed with. Now, it didn't necessarily reach huge success on its own, but it's kind of become a cult classic because people are realizing just how phenomenal these guitars are. Now, if you've never heard of one of these, believe it or not, there's 10, potentially 11 different iterations out there. I would suggest checking out my M3 Deluxe video where I go through every single iteration that was ever made, but essentially there was the M3 and a few different wood variations. There was also an M4 and then later a reissue model. But this is just your standard base model. It's the one you see for sale all the time. Sometimes there's a little bit of a dry spell in the market, but if you're diligent enough, you can find one. But white is kind of an uncommon finish to see, and I dig it. My first one was black, and then sometimes there's natural ones, as well as some that don't even have the pickguard at all. But these are poplar bodies with a maple neck and maple fretboard. These are equipped with a licensed Floyd Rose. It says Gibson on it, and it's made by Schaller. They feature hot ceramic pickups, so you have the 496R in the neck and the 500T in the bridge. And then the center one is what they consider the NSX. You can also find it in things like the Nighthawk. But the pickup controls for these can throw some people off. I can't tell you how many forum posts there are saying, "Is this guitar broken? I'm not sure what's going on here." Okay, so you've got two positions on this little flipper switch. Position 1 is for single coil, so all the white coils. Position 2 is then humbucker mode. But how do you put a single coil pickup in humbucker mode? You don't. So position 1 with your 5-way blade switch is exactly what you think it is. Position 1, neck. 2, neck and middle. 3, just middle. 4, middle bridge. 5, bridge. But when you switch it to humbucker mode, that's when everything just goes out the door. Your 5th position here is now just your bridge pickup. Your 4th position is the traditional Les Paul middle, which means neck and bridge combined. And then your 3rd position is just the neck. So what about your 1st and 2nd positions here? Number 2 is your neck again, but it has what they consider an enhanced tone feature. To put it into layman's terms, it essentially just rolls your tone knob off and cuts all the treble out of the tone. It's not exactly what it's doing, because you could compare that with the middle position rolled all the way off, but it is very similar. And then 1st position on humbucker mode is standby. A lot of people are quick to think that, oh, somebody sent me a defective guitar. But no, that's just how these things are wired. Now, why would they do that? Well, you can kind of get a cool phaser thing. It's essentially a kill switch. But what makes these instruments just so absolutely wonderful is they might look goofy, but this whole big swoop here, it allows a lot of room for your hand to kind of grasp all the way up here, which makes it easier to get to the higher frets on the instrument. That was the first thing I noticed about the M3 series, is just how comfortable they are to play. You also have comfort features like this fin on the top, like you'll see on most Strats, and a cutaway on this side that will make it rest against you much better. And you also have a super pencil thin neck with a really cool reverse-styled Explorer headstock. But even if you don't like Super Strats, I really suggest checking one of these out because that's just how nice these things play. So now that we've learned a little bit more about the Gibson M3, let's go ahead and hear how this one sounds. Before we do this demo though, this is Mike. He has a channel on YouTube and he plays professionally on cruise ships. He came by and helped me record a few guitars, so we will see him in future episodes as well. Now that we know how this instrument sounds, let's go ahead and review its condition. Face of the headstock, you can see your Gibson logo here. You've got quite a few light nicks and dings around the edges of this instrument. Original truss rod cover here and your locking nut. Beautiful maple fretboard with these arrowhead inlays. They kind of have a cool black pearl vibe to them. The frets show very minor wear on this example. Now the body has quite a bit of finish checking here, as well as some nicks and dings, mainly along the edges. I mean, it definitely presents well, but in person, you can definitely see some of these nicks and dings a little bit more clearly. Back of the headstock, serial number 91531752, made in USA. Now you can see the back of the neck is a little bit more white in color. That's because the aged clear coat has been slightly worn off the back of the neck from extensive playing. That's quite common to see with these white guitars. Because the white finish isn't what has aged the cream color, it's just the clear coat. So if you remove that, you have a perfectly white guitar again. You have Schaller strap locks on this one, and just some average buckle wear on the back. It's mainly just on the back plates, but you do have some wear onto the guitar itself. Everything's looking good along the edges here. Just once again, your average light wear and tear. Let's go ahead and view it under Blacklight. Under Blacklight here, you can see beautifully glowing here. You just have your nicks and dings and finish checkings as we were talking about earlier. Back of the guitar is also looking pretty good here, along with a quick view of the sides. Back of the neck, everything's looking good as well. You can see once again that clear coat wear, but no breaks, cracks, or repairs to this example. You can also see the fretboard glows a little bit. So overall, it passes the Blacklight test. This instrument comes in an aftermarket case. It had its original one, but I gave it to that M3 Deluxe because I felt that was a much more rare model and deserved an original style case. This one, it's not the best fit in the world. You've got 3 latches and a functioning handle. I think this is mainly meant to be like a Strat styled case, but what I've done is I put some extra bubble wrap in here. It might look a little bit crude, but it definitely firms up the fit, so you at least have some sort of hard shell case for it. The only thing fit-wise that makes it not 100% perfect is you need a little bit more padding up here, otherwise the guitar flops a little bit. So I would suggest just leaving this in on top of your guitar. It's safe, it won't react with the finish. But some bubble wrap can, so be careful what brands you buy. You also have a compartment in this case, but I do not have a trem bar for this one. If you think you might be interested in being the next owner of this Gibson M3 and the uncommon white finish, feel free to check out that link in the description that will take you to the Reverb for Sale ad. Thank you, Troglodytes, for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow on the next episode. Take care.